Hey guys, welcome back to Technologic. Today we'll be taking a look at the Aftershock Apex 15R Lite gaming laptop. Is this Ryzen powered machine good? Continue watching to find out. Let's go. The Aftershock Apex 15R Lite is a thin and light gaming laptop with a Ryzen CPU. It weighs just under 2 kg and has a thickness of about 2 cm. First, let's look at the specs of this machine. Aftershock offers 3 different CPU-GPU combinations at 3 different price points. These are the 3 combinations. A 6-core Ryzen 5 4600H with a GTX 1650, an 8-core Ryzen 7 4800H with a GTX 1650 Ti, and the Ryzen 7 with an RTX 2060. You can check them out in the links in the description below. The model I have here is a Ryzen 7 with the RTX 2060. It has 16GB of fast 3200 MHz of DDR4 RAM and a 500GB Samsung NVMe SSD. Next, let's look at some games and benchmarks. I ran all these tests while plugged in and in turbo mode for maximum performance. The scores were impressive for a laptop at this price. I ran 2 CPU benchmarks and 2 games. First up, we have Cinebench R20. This machine could get a high multi-thread score of 4340 as the Ryzen 7 4800H has 8 cores and 16 threads. A fair comparison to this CPU at this price point is the Intel i7 10750H. It is around the same price, but it only has 6 cores and 12 threads. For reference, you would expect a Cinebench score of about 3000 on the Intel i7 10750H, which is significantly lower than the Ryzen processor's score. Next up, we have the Corona 1.3 benchmark. I could get a good render time of about 2 minutes and 14 seconds and a high score of over 3.6 million rays per second. Again, for this price point, this performance is extremely great. Next up, we have the games. I ran the in-game GTA 5 benchmark with max settings and these were my results. The average frame per second was over 90 FPS. This is good for a fairly demanding game like GTA 5 on max settings, and you can be assured that your gaming experience will be smooth. Finally, we have Fortnite. On high settings, I could get over 100 FPS throughout the game. It was a great, smooth gaming experience. Here is some gameplay footage taken on the Apex 15R Lite. It is notable that the CPU stayed at a cool 70 to 80 degrees Celsius throughout all these tests and there was no thermal throttling, thanks to the more efficient 7nm process on the Ryzen CPU. Next up, let's look at the hardware and features. The Apex 15R Lite has a 15.6-inch 1080p 144Hz display for the RTX 2060 model and a 120Hz display for the other models mentioned earlier. It gets very bright even under direct sunlight and viewing angles looked good. It also has a great color accuracy of a whopping 72% NTSC, which makes it a great machine for content creation too. The response times were excellent too and were under 5 milliseconds and is better than any other Ryzen machine out there. Overall, the display is great for both gaming and content creation. The Apex 15R Lite has good build quality, with an aluminum alloy finish on the cover and the palm rest. There was little to no flex when pressing down on the keyboard and palm rest. These surfaces attract some fingerprints, but are easy to clean using a cloth. The bottom cover is made up of plastic, but it feels sturdy. There is some screen flex, but it does not wobble during normal use. I could easily open the lid with one finger and the hinges felt sturdy. Overall, the build quality is amazing. The Apex 15R Lite has a relatively small 46.74 Wh battery, but they will have a version with the larger 63 Wh battery in the near future. It does come with a 180 watt power supply to keep it running at full power. The 46.74 Wh battery lasted me for about 3.5 hours with office mode enabled with a continuous 1080p video loop on YouTube at 50% brightness. The webcam on the Apex 15R Lite is not the best though. It is tucked away under the display on the bottom bezel and is a 720p camera. For reference, this is the quality of the camera and microphone of this laptop. You have to tilt up the display a bit, and this is how it sounds like when I'm typing. And this is how it sounds like when the fans are running on maximum speed. Next, let's look at the keyboard. It is a high quality membrane keyboard that feels great to type on. It has a great layout and is not too loud when typing. It also has RGB lighting that can be configured in the control panel. The RGB backlight does get quite bright at maximum brightness. Moving on, the trackpad has Windows Precision drivers and is decently sized and responsive. The Aftershock Apex 15R Lite has a wide selection of ports. On the right, we have a full-size SD card reader, two USB 3.1 Gen 1 ports and an air vent. On the left, we have another air vent, a Gigabit Ethernet port, a USB 2.0 port, a headphone jack and a microphone jack. And finally on the back, there are two more air vents, two mini display ports, a Type-C port without Thunderbolt or charging, a HDMI output and the charging port. Overall, I think that this is the best gaming laptop at this price point. It has comparable multi-core performance to something like the more expensive 8-core i7-10750H laptops. I think that Aftershock has nailed it by including all the important features of a gaming laptop in 2020. I do recommend it if you are looking for an affordable yet absolutely powerful gaming laptop. I will leave some links in the description below if you want to check out this laptop for yourself. That's all I have for today. Do let me know if you have any questions in the comment section below, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!